I would be interested to just go back in the lifeline, and if you can just explain how did your passion to music start? In terms of, were you introduced to it by from family? Was it a friend? Like, how did this whole thing happen to a point where you were like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be involved in?
Yeah, my parents grew up in the 50s when rock and roll was coming up, and having their family in the mid 60s when there was so much great music going on. And I remember they had a huge vinyl collection with lots of like rock and folk and just and then we called them the oldies. Anywhere I drove, my dad had like Roy Orbison on the line, and Elvis and the Beatles and all the like great classic rock artists and oldies on. So there was lots of music, but I think for me the passion was that kind of primal drum beat. Like, we would go to a lot of parades with marching bands when I was a kid, and the drums are hitting you in the chest.
Yes.
And it was very like, I'd get buzzy and my eyes would get big, and the hair would stand up. I didn't have any hair on my back, but it would stand up. And drumming like really hit me physically. So I knew from a young age, like 5, 6, 7 years old, that I wanted to play drums, and I was obsessed with drums. So I think, music was just something that happened really young for me. I loved sports too, but drumming was something that I felt like, I could really do.
Wow, amazing. And I again very much relate, because for me, the first moment was always when you go to a gig and when you physically just experience the sound. I think that's one of the most out of the world experiences and sensations that you can get, which is amazing. And do you remember like the first time when you started playing drums and experiencing this moment when, whether it's being while playing with other people, where everything clicks together and you realize that you're creating music? Do you remember, did you have such a moment where everything just falls into place and you're like, I'm a musician?
Yeah, no, of course. I played in like school bands and stuff like that. And that was pretty cool doing performances with that. But with rock and roll, I was messing around doing covers like Metallica and AC/DC covers with the guitar player when I was really young. I don't know, 10, 11, 12 or something like that. And that was exciting, but we were just doing covers, I wasn't like a musician. I was just learning. I was a student, right? But I think it was like starting my first punk band with one of my best friends, Dave. And then we got a bass player and a singer, another guitar player, but we had like 3 or 4 guys. When it was 3 or 4 guys, and we were rocking in my mom's living room and making a lot of bad noise, but that getting that feeling, that was definitely it, and I don't know the song, but we were writing songs and just putting them all together. But I think we knew our early stuff was not very good, but I think when we got in the recording studio and we're like had to play it perfect and had to make it sound good, that probably was a moment. Then we listened back and it was like, oh, that's pretty good. So probably the first time we went in the recording studio was when we felt like we were pros or doing it for real.
It's a big moment.
Yeah.
So do you still play, by the way? Do you?
No, I don't. I'm in Japan, and it's, everybody lives on top of each other, and there's no way you can have a drum set in your apartment. I can go rent them, and there's music stores, and they have the like headphones and the pads, and I've played on those, but no, I don't. And one of my friends here, he's my age, but he wants to learn to play drums. So I've been teaching him a little at his house, but we want to go to like a rehearsal space and, jam. And his son is 9 or 7 or something like that, and he wants to learn too. So I might do it like that, but no, I don't get to play anymore.
Do you miss it?
I do. Yeah, I do miss it.